Hello, plinkers and tinkerers, and everybody training with the Crosman full auto platform. The DPMS has been out since 2018, and I feel this is a good place to start because since 2018 and all the forums and all the questions on all the videos is always what can I do about my DPMS stock? There's nothing wrong with the DPMS stock. There are a lot of models of rifles out there who do have this type of lower receiver, even if it's not an exact replica. There are models out there who have, you know, who have this. Although most people would prefer to have the mil spec buffer tube, um, or at the minimum the commercial spec buffer tube. But so this video, guys, is for everybody since 2018 who who's stuck with their stock for whatever reason. You don't want to buy 2, 3, 4, 5 Crossmans. You're training, you want to make it more real. Anyways, so we're going to start from the beginner level to the expert level for the modifications for the stock on the DPMS SBR from Crosman. So the first beginner level mod, I would say, is to get just a regular collapsible stock. So everybody just wants to detach this at the minimum from this. So if you don't have any tools, if you don't have a vice grip, if you're stuck and you're broke and all you want to do is have a full collapsible stock. So as you can see, I can still put my mod on my. So this is my DPMS buffer tube from 2018. I did mod this. So if all you want to do, if all you want is just a stock that you can pull off, you don't even have to shave this. If I cut this off, I could fit this guy on here. So all you're gonna have to do is, of course, you go watch my lower receiver full breakdown video. You need a 5/30 punch. 5/30 for this guy. 5/30 for this guy. You remove your buffer tube. I would recommend you remove your pistol grip also, which is in the same video. So feel free to skip and pause and go watch that. If you don't have time to go rewatch that, then I'm sorry, guys. I wouldn't recommend you start finagling with your Crossmans. If you don't have time to spend 5 minutes going through a video, then proceed at your own risk. You probably won't want to do what I recommend. So get the pistol grip off, get your buffer tube out, and then all you need, guys, I would recommend doing this in a vise, but any trick you have to clamp down your lower receiver, so once everything is off, you're gonna want to slice a straight line right here. You can see on mine, I went through the hassle of trying to notch off the edge here, but with hindsight, I would have just cut these 2 notches off because I really don't care. I don't even use this anymore. And all that ended up doing is I marred. I had to play. I had to polish this with a Dremel and cut it out. It was a pain in the ass to get my scars out from cutting the notch out of this upper part. So I would just recommend that you tape a perpendicular tape say with duct tape or painter's tape, maybe masking tape. Just make sure it's straight. It has to be really straight. And then all you need is a hacksaw. I don't have the hacksaw I used. This is just a hacksaw that was lying around. And now you see this blade. If your blade looks like this, do not use it. But this is really, it'll cut. It's whatever infused nylon polymer. But a hacksaw, a thin hacksaw, you want it to be thin. You want it to be brand new. You want it to be spick and span. You could go through it with a Dremel, but that's gonna make a mess. It's gonna gunk up. There's gonna be particles everywhere. A hacksaw really does, and this is a very basic tool with a brand new blade, the thinnest you can get. You need this because you're gonna need it also for the pin at the end. But a really nice hacksaw blade, and then you just have to saw right down flush with your lower, the inside edge of your, where everything connects here. You're just gonna cut perpendicular. You're gonna keep it going. Make sure it's just perfectly straight. Once that's perfectly straight, this whole plastic part is just gonna pop off. Now all you have to do, no, this one. All you have to do, crazy glue, guys. There's a reason why crazy glue is crazy glue. It's been trademarked and everything patented since forever. On air guns and polymer and plastics, this guy welds your plastic together, and I've crazy glued hammers together, plastic hammers, and this guy holds hammers together. So you can use whatever glue you want to use, but I recommend crazy glue. There's a reason why it's crazy glue is crazy glue and the others are other brands. So once you have your top part cut off, all you have to do, you put a couple of drops. Put a drop. So if I'm not gonna squeeze, but if you put a drop and just spread it around on your lower, of course, this is how I did it. I just put a drop here, spread it around. I put a drop in the middle, I spreaded it. A drop at the end, I give it a little spread. Same thing on both sides. And then before it's set, you got to be ready, be prepared. Before all that's set, I just rested the top on top. I just rested the plastic piece that you just cut off from your lower receiver. You're just gonna rest it flush on top. Don't press, just rest it on top and just let it set. And this is usually crazy glue. It says you have to hold your pieces together, but you don't want to constrict your buffer tube. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna put your drops on your lower receiver, on the stock, in the slots here. You're just a little bit of you don't need a lot, just a little bit, and just gently put your stock so that you can maybe see a little bit of daylight. See, I didn't squeeze it down. See, there's a little gap here. Just oh, there it is. See that gap? Yeah. Just all you want to do is you just rest it down in the crazy glue. You want to make sure it's level, and you let the crazy glue set. Once the crazy glue is set, you have technically you have a stock. It's a DPMS Crosman, and you don't have to shave off. You don't have to shave off the rails to do this. And this is the easiest thing you can do to your stock. So this is the beginner mod, I would say. Because beyond this, you really do need a vise. If you want to play, if you really want to get this lower receiver, if you want to make this look like this, you could fiddle with it on your hat, your just a random workbench with random tools, but it's going to take you hours and hours. You will need a vise. And by the way, if you already have access to a lathe and a milling tool and a bandsaw, and you know how to use all those tools, then from now on, this is more of a guide for you. And for everybody who's wondering, oh, couldn't I just, here's my warning and here's my also my advice. If this is what you want to do, then this is what you want. This is what you need. Because this alloy is not. This is not it's not aluminum. It's not steel. This is a random mix of random metals. And if you have a grinding wheel and you grind, you're gonna gunk up your grinding wheel. You're gonna have to clean it over and over and over, because whatever this alloy is, a really top-notch file. If you have a real file, see, this is what I used to do this guy to finish it off. At least I used a grinding wheel. I scrapped it. There's still residue on the grinding wheel at the shop. Yeah, like I said, if you have a whole workshop and you have crazy heavy duty tools, you can do this. If not, that's why I recommend just crazy glue your stock like this. If you're gonna go through the process of all of this, pick your stock beforehand. Don't start grinding and do random polishing before you pick your stock. You're gonna want to pick your stock, and then as you proceed through the grinding and polishing process, you're going to want to make sure the stock that you chose, because this is all for aesthetics and for maybe if you want to fit it to your shoulder, that's all the stock is going to do. You're going to want to try it at every step of the way, because if you buy... I would, if you want to do this also, you could maybe select a commercial buffer tube, a commercial stock. Commercial spec is bigger than mil spec. So if you want to do less grinding on the edges and everywhere, you are going to need also you're going to need a Dremel tool. You're going to need sandpaper. You're gonna need a vise, a real high quality file. It's not easy, even with all those tools. It will take you more than 5 minutes. So if you don't have 5 minutes to watch through the breakdown videos and the and this video, well, then trying to mod this is not for you. Anyways, so is there anything I'm missing? Oh yeah, this pin. The only for the beginners, you will have to cut these pin. Oh man, I hope the beginners stuck around to the end, because technically you should have been. Your rear pin with the same hacksaw with the fresh blade that you used to cut through the plastic, you're gonna have to make it flush with the inside, of the buffer tube, because now that you disconnected your top rail, you don't want You do not want this rear pin to interfere with this hole. So that's the only thing. So for beginners, you have to cut it flush with your black buffer tube. And if you go all the way and grind all this out with a Dremel, with a file, with a grinding wheel, with a milling tool, whatever, you are going to have to cut down once you've picked your stock and it fits this rear pin. You will have to cut it down to size to fit your buffer tube. And once you get there, oh man, yeah, I think that's it. You can put whatever. I highly recommend you pick your buffer tube and you polish as you go along. Make sure you use the proper tools, guys. If everything is wobbling, if everything's crooked, if your blades are dull, you're gonna have a crappy result. Always measure twice, cut once. But man, I used this until 2000, almost 2000, easily into 2019, because I had to buy a Bushmaster to get a mil-spec buffer tube, and I had this guy on it, and then I had access to a grinding wheel, and I finally did this. I polished it all down. It's a hell of a job. This alloy is a bitch. So yeah, there are my tips and warnings. I hope I covered everything. Please leave a comment if you have more questions. But this is basically from beginner level to expert level. If you can polish this straight and measure it, and say measuring, you don't want to eyeball stuff, you do want a caliper. So, or at least a measuring tape. You got to make things precise. You measure twice, you cut once. If you have access to all these heavy-duty machining tools, technically this is just a guide for you. And but for all the beginners, maybe this is enough of a mod for you to be satisfied. Because this mod will still fit on the black, the uncut lower extension. Anyways, I'll stop babbling, and hopefully next time I think will be the pistol grip mod video. Have fun plinking, always be safe, and always wear our pro.